I am Oscar.
I'm Gary.
What was that?
I'm Captain Kirk.
And welcome to this Heel Pictures review, and this is going to be our review of the brand spanking new Christopher Nolan sci-fi film Interstellar. Now, Interstellar is, of course, directed by Christopher Nolan, written by him and Jonathan Nolan, and the film stars Matthew McConaughey, Jessica Chastain, Anne Hathaway, Casey Affleck, John Lithgow, and Michael Caine, a Nolan regular, being in 6 films, I believe, of Christopher Nolan. Yeah, 6. And the plot synopsis of Interstellar is a group of astronauts, or explorers, or however you would say them, including Matthew McConaughey, go on a voyage through a wormhole, and for certain reasons. My anticipations going in this film were just, I don't know how high they were at this point now. Christopher Nolan is my favourite director alive. I've at least liked every single one of his films. I've loved most of them. The Dark Knight trilogy is my favourite trilogy of all time. Inception's my favourite film of this decade so far. I just think that he is a incredible director, an amazing writer as well, and I was just so pumped about this time last year when they brought the blinking teaser trailer out, which made me so much more excited for it. Your expectations going into Interstellar, Gary?
Mine were like probably 2 where Matthew McConaughey was in the movie. Probably 2 that high. It was that high. Towards Saturn area. That was how high it was.
Yeah.
Off the screen of the camera.
Yeah, because you're a space guy.
I am a flipping space dude.
I'm a space dude.
I thought I'd an Interstellar. Christopher Nolan, you sexy man. I was like, thank Christopher Nolan for making this epicness. I love this film.
You love it.
I love it. Yes. This is probably the only film ever to have thinking, emotions, and just savage revenge. I don't know.
You need to calm down, Gary. You're getting way too excited over here.
I was like, I couldn't speak on the way out. I was like sort of like emotional and everything. I was like,
Right, let's break it down. Acting.
Not phenomenal. Phenomenal. Matthew McConaughey, he was brilliant in this movie. And Hathaway, she didn't feel as a big part, but but she was good. The girl,
Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, she was brilliant as well. I liked her. She was amazing. Michael Caine, I can't even get my words out. He was phenomenal.
The small part he was in he wasn't in that long.
No, I was like, just the certain part he was in it was just amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, I have not seen this from Michael Caine before. I was like,
the closest thing I would say is like The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
If you're a subscriber and you're a video watcher of ours, you know Gary is essentially on a mission to find the best soundtrack of this year. Every film we've kind of seen, you've said, the soundtrack's good, but it could be better. Every film we've seen this year, you've kind of been on your mission to find a soundtrack that is worthy of the Gary Bradshaw seal of approval. What are your thoughts on the soundtrack of Interstellar?
Well, this probably might be the best soundtrack I've ever heard.
Oh, Jesus
Not just
Christ!
this year.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's up there. It's definitely up there with my best soundtracks of the year and of all time.
Jesus Christ!
So I did not listen to the soundtrack before going into this. I did not spoil anything. All I listened to is Hans Zimmer's original teaser trailer song. That's it. That's all I listened to. Cinematography was beautiful. I love the cinematography in this because the mixture in space and good camera angles is just a good thing. I don't know. This film just broke me.
What about your visual effects? That links in with
Visual effects. This flipping knocks gravity out the water. It knocks gravity out the water. If it was between this and Gravity, I love Gravity, International Space Station.
It's a good film.
It's a good film. I had no problems with it.
Thanks.
These visual effects are flipping better than Gravity, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Christopher Nolan, right?
Christopher Nolan, yeah.
How the hell did he think of these things? How did he not get mixed up between what he's writing and not writing? It's like, at best I thought this was going to be a good movie, and towards the middle I was expecting, could this go without no meaning about it?
Like no
then,
twist or something.
No twist. But then we come to the end.
Which we won't spoil, no spoilers, don't worry.
Spoil. Nothing I was expecting. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Nothing what I was expecting.
Yeah. And were you happy with how it all wrapped up?
Yes. I was like, oh my god, Matthew McConaughey, you.
Do you have any issues, like any problems with this film? I think that's the question. What didn't you like about it?
Probably the beginning. I thought that
Okay.
a bit slow, bit slow. It picked up, went back down again, picked up again, then both, a big massive explosion happened. That never happened in the movie.
Would you rewatch this film again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will own it on Blu-ray. I will try get to 4K television. Actually, no. I will actually get this film again. I will watch it and watch it and watch it.
So you liked it?
I
Just like it.
just liked it. Just liked it.
Right, okay then. My thoughts on Interstellar. Now I'm going to have to say this. I was getting kind of worried going into this film. Because I heard... I didn't look at any reviews, but I heard that critics like Jeremy Johns gave it a okay. I need to actually watch their reviews to actually hear their problems on it. But from what I heard, it's so I was getting kind of worried, and then I just started. But going into it, like when I was sat down in the cinema, I started thinking to myself, you know what? No, this is going to be a Nolan film. It's gonna split people's opinions. I think that's. We all know Nolan is known for conflicting people's. I mean, look at Inception. Look at Dark Knight Rises, for God's sake. Look at how many people liked and disliked that film. I've always been on the love side of Nolan's films. Always been on the love side. And this film, the beginning part, I do agree. The beginning was slow. I was kind of waiting for stuff to happen. But one thing I immediately noticed while watching this film, that it looked gorgeous. Considering Wally Pfister was not the DP on this, he's working with someone completely different, Nolan, and this guy's doing the cinematography for Bond 24. I have complete faith in how Bond 24 is going to look. This film looked outstanding. I cannot believe how beautiful this film looked.
Oh, the camera.
Not just on Earth, but especially in space.
So
My God, the shots where the camera was essentially just attached to a ship and stuff that you would see on the ISS thing, it looked outstanding. And the soundtrack. Do you know how much I love? Do you remember how much I love the Gone Girl soundtrack?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what Hans Zimmer does to the Gone Girl soundtrack? It kicks it out of the blinking pond and says, "This is my town." The soundtrack is... It rivals the Inception soundtrack, in my opinion. And the Inception soundtrack is in the top 3 best soundtracks I've heard. This is up there as one of the best soundtracks / scores ever. This is one of the best looking films Nolan has ever done. One of the best sounding films Nolan's ever done. Not just the soundtracks, the sound. This is the thing that I loved about Gravity as well. That when they're in space, silence. Just
stuff.
There's no sound in space. Silence. And whenever it goes silent, I just get chills because I just take in the atmosphere that Nolan's pumping into this film.
I had goosebumps at the start.
Oh, dude! Like when they're like, there's just a shot of Saturn and then the beautiful soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. I was just like, I'm having a life-changing experience right now. But yeah, the beginning was slow. It did take a while but as soon as they're in the spaceship, as soon as they're in there, immediately I got more entertained. Immediately the film picked up. I think that the way that they handled the wormhole stuff.
And that's pretty. We don't have a clue what will happen in a wormhole.
No. But the way that the wormhole stuff, the way that they handled it, the way that they explained what a wormhole was near enough. A fantastic screenplay by the Nolan brothers. This was an excellent, excellent story. I did get lost a few times. But that's because they were.
Yeah.
That's because they were talking a load of space technical talk stuff, which I didn't fully get. But I have no problem because I'm probably going to rewatch this film. It's the same thing that I had with Inception. They talked a load of dream mumble jumbo. I didn't understand it fully the first time. Then I rewatched it, and then I'm like, my God, I understand it. I'm probably going to do that with blinking Interstellar. It's like that. The twists and the turns that this film had, I can see people complaining about that. I don't care. I love the twists and turns in this film. The way that they handled it. And the visuals in this film. My God. This needs to win Best Visual Effects, ladies and gentlemen. At the Academy Awards. I have a feeling... I'm predicting this right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure about the main categories, but Interstellar will win Best Visual Effects, Best Cinematography, Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, at least. And Best Original Score.
Yeah.
Though I can guarantee you those are and it will at least be nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah.
At least. And I hope that Nolan's nominated for Best Directing, because the way he directed this film was almost to perfection. If Alfonso Cuarón can get his first Academy Award for Gravity,
For a space type film.
for that space film, blinking Nolan, not just with a space film, with a complicated wormhole type of scenario, and with an amazing family story.
Yes.
The way Nolan gets you emotional with Matthew McConaughey and his family when he sees the tapes.
Yes.
Oh my God. Matthew McConaughey was outstanding. Dare I say no? Then again, I would say he gives one of the best performances of this year. I still think Gyllenhaal a bit over him.
Yeah.
I still think no.
No, I don't.
McConaughey over Gyllenhaal for this.
Just.
I mean, the atmosphere was amazing. I think that the way that they handled each character was genius. I didn't feel that. Oh, I only care about McConaughey. I cared about Anne Hathaway. I cared about the goddamn robot, for God's sake. Tars, I cared about him.
They were cool.
I cared about Tars, for goodness sake. Nolan made me care about something that doesn't even have a human body look-alike. The robot doesn't even look like anything. It's a cube. It looked like a Minecraft glitch. And I cared about it. I think that the way this film ended was great. However, I honestly do feel that within time this film will get the recognition that it is a classic. At the moment, I don't think people accept it, and at the moment, I'm not really saying it's a classic right now. I did have problems. There were pacing issues in it, the beginning, and sometimes in the spaceship and all that. It felt kind of like it dipped and a bit like in pacing wise, it dragged at places. But when it picked up, it picked up. When the acting was good, it was great. Michael Caine, I will repeat what you say with that. He was amazing, and especially the last scene we saw him in. Dude, I know, right? It was almost rivaling the "I failed you, Master Wayne" scene in the blinking Dark Knight Rises. It was close to how great he was in that. The visuals are some of the best ever. Like, absolutely outstanding. And I praise Gravity's visuals so much. Yeah, this knocked it out the park. Because it wasn't just space. When they were on both of the planets, through the wormhole, it was amazing to look at. And it felt like that could exist. I think that's the thing Nolan does very well with this film. I feel like all of this could happen. This whole wormhole stuff. I feel like and the whole time paradox thing.
Once that clicked in, I was like...
Yeah, dude.
I had a smile on my face.
Yeah, I was like...
Looking at you, I was like...
Yeah. And like, anything involved with the time, I was like, this is amazing. And I think what Nolan does best is he gets something that... And he's proven this in every single one of his films. He gets something that should be silly and over-fantasized and unrealistic, and he makes it feel real. Inception, the way he directed that film and the way he just made Inception made me think, we can infiltrate someone's dreams. We would never be able to do that, but Nolan made me think that. He could make me think a blinking guy in a bat suit was a realistic thing. He made me feel what happened in The Prestige could happen. And he did it again. He made me think that all the events that happened in Interstellar could happen.
Good.
Even the blinking, the ending. I didn't think I would love the film this much when I walked out. Only talking about it now, I'm finding out how much Nolan's done it again. That's all I have to say. In Nolan we trust. But yeah, I have to say Interstellar is definitely... I wouldn't say... I don't know whether it's my favourite film of the year. I don't know whether if it is. But I think that... I don't know. I need to think about that.
Yes.
I need to think about that. That's a big decision to make for that.
Like when the movie finished, I was like...
Yeah, I'm not...
Just higher than the one I've already got.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know whether... I can't... All I know is that I think this was an outstanding film. For people who are saying like, oh, Gravity was amazing, it's the best space film of this decade. Interstellar had amazing characters, amazing acting, amazing visual effects, amazing soundtrack, a great screenplay with great twists and turns, more than one twist, more than one surprise in the film. Yeah. But I do have to say that the beginning, it took a while for it to pick up. I did find it kind of boring at the beginning, and at some points there were a bit like, okay, let's get back to it a little bit. But when I think about Interstellar, I think of the fact that we have a future classic. Maybe not at this moment, we have to give it time. The film's only just come out. But we need to give it time. And I feel like in a year or two, we're going to say, yeah, you remember Interstellar? Yeah, that was amazing. Like how Inception is now. Or The Dark Knight. How we look at it, it's like, yeah, that was an incredible film. Nolan, you did it again, Chris. You proved to be my favourite director alive, and keep it up, Chris. You are an incredible, incredible filmmaker. Overall thoughts, Gary?
Fantastic. Cinematography brilliant. Soundtrack brilliant. More than brilliant, actually. Phenomenal. Phenomenal with the cinematography and the soundtrack. Phenomenal with the acting. Phenomenal. Everything.
So you didn't like the film?
I didn't like it. One thing I like to point out.
Okay.
On the spaceship, what's the dock with, the spinny thing.
Yeah.
Did you know? I was actually thinking of this because we're going to.
You're a space girl.
We're going to do an international space station like this. They're going to rotate the space station. They're actually creating their artificial gravity. So that's why you don't see the astronauts floating around when it doesn't stop.
Oh, okay.
So if it stops, you're going to float. But if it doesn't stop, so if it doesn't stop, they're going to stay still because of artificial gravity with the centrifugal force. They don't know that.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We highly recommend you go out and see Interstellar. Give Nolan your money.
In the cinema.
Yeah, give Nolan your money. I want to see this at IMAX. I want to go and see this in IMAX, yeah. That would be incredible, actually. Links are down below for Twitter and Facebook. What do you guys think of Interstellar? Comment below. I'd really be interested because Nolan's films these days are very, very polarising and stuff. And you know what? You can call us Nolan fanboys. Yeah, sure, we're Nolan fanboys, whatever. Do you know why we're fanboys of Nolan? Because he makes good films. That's why we're Nolan fanboys. And till next time, guys, we shall see you later, and goodbye.